Confirmed. Electoral Commission rules out any possibility of first-time voters registering in ongoing limited registration exercise in conflict-ravaged Bawku in Upper East after MPP and NDC failed to agree on where to site registration centers.
But based on the information, the intelligence we have from our regional director and other personnel in the region, it is not appropriate for us to continue with the registration in the Bawku municipality.
We are live in Bawku on the day the EC confirmed it will not extend the nationwide exercise.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Vodafone. If you are a first-time voter in Bawku and looking forward to registering and casting your ballot in the district-level elections later this year, well, I have bad news for you tonight. The Electoral Commission says you cannot be registered because the two main political parties, the NDC and the MPP, have failed to agree on where to site the registration centres. The limited registration exercise was halted in the conflict-ravaged constituency in the Upper East region, following confusion over the siting of registration kits. The EC insists the area is still not safe to deploy its personnel to work there. Deputy EC Chairperson Dr. Bosman Asari says the Commission has no alternative arrangement to ensure prospective voters are not disenfranchised.
Yeah, the Bawku issue, as you rightly pointed out, it came up very, very strongly. The Commission did its very best to be able to bring the two parties, the two main political parties and the others together to be able to ensure a very smooth registration exercise. Our regional director, our district officer in Bawku, all of them did their very best. And as we speak now, we haven't gotten the green light or the permission from them to indicate that the two parties and the other parties have agreed. So as we speak now, there is no registration ongoing in the Bawku municipality.
Then what happens? Because the people ought to also exercise their civic responsibility. What then happens to them?
Yeah, the Commission recognizes the fundamental nature of the right to register and certainly vote as a voter. But we also recognize that the right to life is also very, very important. Our officers in Bawku, these are people from several parts of our country who have been posted there to do their work. And once we got the indication that their life will be in danger if they should go ahead with the registration exercise, the Commission decided to put the registration on hold. So as I indicated earlier, if we get the permission, the green light from the two parties that they've come to an agreement and that there is consensus that the registration should go on, the Commission is fully ready. But based on the information, the intelligence we have from our regional director and other personnel in the region, it is not appropriate for us to continue with the registration in the Bawku municipality.
So no alternative arrangements will be made for the people of Bawku?
Currently, there is no alternative arrangement being made. The Commission is not considering any alternative arrangements.
Let's go to the Upper East region now. Let's bring in Albert Sorry, who has been following this for us today since the EC made this declaration today. Albert, what has been the reaction in Bawku?
Evan, so for many of the people in the Bawku municipality, the concern is that, especially for first-time voters, they have basically been disenfranchised because of the situation. Now, you have a situation where there is a dilemma because you have to choose between getting yourself on the voters register and also to protect your life. So they were looking at it from the perspective that if the government really wanted to make sure that all these people who have the opportunity to register and vote get the opportunity to do so, they would have put the right measures in place because just a few people who disagree on what should be done should not lead to a total boycott of the registration exercise. So these are generally the concerns that residents in Bawku who couldn't register have on this issue.
Albert, thank you very much. I want to now take you to Bawku now, and let's speak to both the NDC and the MPP there. And as you just heard, that has been the Tony issue. Now it is going to be the reason why many first-time voters will be disenfranchised, at least ahead of the district level elections. I want to bring in the spokesperson for the party in Bawku. I'm talking about the NDC. He is Yusuf Utumba, who joins us on the line right now. Hello, Yusuf. Thanks for your time here on Top Story.
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Evans.
Great to have you. Also joining us is the spokesperson for the party in Bawku for the MPP, and Nuruddin Guma joins us also. Hello, Nuruddin.
Good evening to you, Evans, and good evening to your cherished listeners.
Yusuf, let me start with you. So you've had the EC today with his announcement. What's your response to that?
Yeah, good evening, Mr. Evans. I want to thank you very much for the opportunity offered us to tell our story to the whole country, at least for the first time. It appears the Electoral Commission is not being candid and truthful with the information or the issues surrounding the registration issues within the Bawku Central constituency. And as a matter of fact, we think that the Electoral Commission has not told the good people of Ghana why they are stopping the registration of potential registrants in Bawku.
Yusuf, they have. They say that there was an agreement. It was drafted. An agreement to have different voting centers in two different parts of Bawku to allow people who feel safe to determine where they want to go. But the NDC has refused to sign that document.
Mr. Evans, let me set the record straight for your good listeners. They were supposed to start a registration exercise in Bawku Central constituency. The district election director made a proposal that he was going to communicate with the National Election Directorate so that because of the situation in the Bawku Central constituency, they are able to create additional 3 centers in addition to the designated center at the district office. These centers were supposed to take care of the people of the Kuka-Zabugo electoral area, the people of the Disa belt, and the people within the township as a result of their inability to access the district election commissioner's office. A day to the start of the registration exercise, the district electoral commissioner communicated to us as a party that the electoral commission in Accra has refused to grant the request for the creation of 3 additional centers.
How many did they say they wanted to do? From what I hear, they wanted to do
3, in addition to the EC's own office. And I'm saying that a day to the commencement of the registration exercise, the district election director communicated to us as a political party that the EC have refused to grant the request for the creation of any additional center, and that per their rules we are all supposed to convey at the district elections office for the registration. To our surprise, the early morning of the registration, the Electoral Commission moved a machine to the township to start a registration process. We could not appreciate why, after communicating to us that they are unable to do that, will turn around and send a machine to the township, which was only one of the places that were proposed for a machine to be created. As we speak, the Electoral Commission has not been able to tell us a reason why they decided to provide additional machine for the township and denied the people of Kuka-Zabugo and denied the people of the Disa belt.
You said, let me ask you.
It is well known.
You said, just a second.
Yes.
You said, just a second. Direct question. Did the EC draft an agreement for you to sign on?
what I want to put on record is that the Electoral Commission did not propose any agreement for us to sign. Truth of the matter is that when we raised issue as a political party, while the Electoral Commission decided to send a machine to town and denied the other areas that were equally proposed, while the Electoral Commission communicated to us that it was not possible for any machine, registration machine, to be taken to any other place except the East District Office, and finally they turn around to send a machine to one particular place. The Electoral Commission convened a meeting between the two political parties, the District Electoral Commission, and the Regional Electoral Commission Director. Out of that meeting, they made 3 proposals before us. The first proposal was that we should both agree to have the registration done at the Electoral Commission District Office per their own rules.
Okay.
Second proposal was that
stay with me.
We the NDC should allow them to take one machine to the township so that they will be having 2 machines. Whilst one ran in the township, the other machine ran at the Electoral Commission's office. And the third proposal was that if both of us are not able to come into an agreement, they will be forced to stop the entire registration exercise. And that was where the whole issues arise.
Yeah, and that is exactly what has happened. Yusuf, stay with me. Let me bring in Nuruddin. Nuruddin, did you sign this agreement that we've just heard Yusuf articulate?
Yes, we did. The MPP did that.
And you did that because you were confident in the structures that the EC had laid because of the conflict situation in that particular district.
That's very true.
Okay, but you've
now. First of all, let me make some corrections here. Before the limited registration started, the EC hasn't engaged the MPP and the NDC in their constituency. We all know and we are all fully aware that per the regulations, the limited registration exercise is supposed to take place at the EC offices. But you see, Bawku has a problem because of the conflict situations we are facing in Bawku here. I'm sure the Ghana Police Service already indicated to the EC in Bawku that it will be wise to see if they can create a center in the township, because they are the security experts and they believe that those who live in the Bisa areas and those who live in the Kusasi areas can easily access the center at the EC's office at the municipal assembly without any security threat. But those within the Bawku township, it will be difficult for them to access the EC's office, which is located at the municipal assembly, because where the EC office is located, there have been some attacks of the people of the township within that spot. So people are scared to even move to that place. So I'm sure with the advice of the police, the EC decided that, okay, then we will get an offline machine. In fact, we must make it very clear that it was an offline machine that was brought to the township. That was the second day of the registration. And when the offline machine was brought to the township, the NDC, led by their constituency chairman, approached the municipal EC director in his office and questioned him why they have to bring a machine to the township. And he tried to explain to them the security situations and the reason why they have to bring an offline machine, which was actually supposed to run for 1 week. There was a disagreement between the NDC executives who were at the EC office and the EC director. And that is what brought the halting of the process in Bawku Central. That was the first reason, because the NDC executives had gone to engage the EC director in his office. Then the following day, there was a meeting that was summoned. I think the police was there, the EC regional boss was there, the municipal boss was also there. MPP, NDC were also invited. It was that meeting that they had agreed, like my friend Mr. Otumba said. They agreed to certain 3 things. Then we didn't come to a consensus. Then later another meeting was summoned. It was in that meeting that they agreed that the NDC actually agreed in that meeting that they also have people in the township who are going to register, and therefore they do not have any problem with the machine being placed at the township. And therefore we all agreed verbally that there should be a second machine at the township. But the EC said that no, you must put this into writing so that we can use this one to back that all of you have agreed, both NDC and MPP have agreed that there should be a machine at the township. We MPP, we had written our part and presented it to the EC at the region. The NDC didn't write. So the EC also wrote their letter, added with our letter, and sent to their headquarters in Accra.
Well, as we speak right now, because of the disagreement between the two parties, yourself and the NDC, first-time voters will be disenfranchised, at least in
that's very true.
The district level elections in November. You accept responsibility for this, that this is how bad our politics has become, that because of NDC and MPP disagreements,
we have not disagreed. The EC can confirm that we have signed the document that they have asked us to sign.
Stay with me. Yusuf, you accept that responsibility, that these two parties, yourself and the MPP, you are going to disenfranchise loads of first-time voters in the district level elections.
Thank you, Mr. Evans. I've listened to my brother Nuruddin Goma. I want to state clearly that from day one, we never accepted for a machine to be taken to the township without same machines taken to the Cook-Zabwe area and the Bisa Belt. The lives of the people of the Bisa area are equally of importance to us.
Well, you said
the life of the people of the Cook-Zabwe area are equally of importance to us.
Yeah, Yusuf, I hear you, but I'm asking you about the responsibility now, considering that many ordinary folks in Bawku will not get an opportunity to vote because you disagree
of the constituency of that same region. Now, to answer your question, Mr. Evans, let me state that Article 45 of the 1992 Constitution is clear on the duties of the Electoral Commission. We as a political party have no power whatsoever to permit the Electoral Commission to do a registration exercise after I've listened to Mr. Bosman Asara state. It is the Constitution that has given them the power. The Constitution has given them the mandate, the responsibility to ensure that every qualified Ghanaian within the ages of 18 and above who is willing and ready to take part in the election process of Ghana is provided the space and time to do so. So it is very strange for us to hear the Electoral Commission make the statement that we did not permit them to do the registration exercise. In any case, let us also make it clear to the listeners that the Electoral Commission has its own rules, and per the rules of the Electoral Commission, the only permissible area where the Electoral Commission is supposed to do the registration exercise is 8 district offices and regional offices. So if the Electoral Commission, because we have said we are not going to accept any machine to be taken to any other place, the Electoral Commission will write on that and decided to stop its own rules and decided to fix its own rules when it favors it to cancel an entire registration exercise. We think that the responsibility lies within the Electoral Commission. We want to remind the Electoral Commission that out of the 268 registration centers that were designated and gazetted, Bawku Central constituency has only one registration center. So if the Electoral Commission thinks that because of the peculiar nature of our situation, they want to cater and take the security of the people into consideration, what we are simply asking the Electoral Commission to do is not about whether there is an agreement between the NDC or the MP, because in the first place, it is not our responsibility to begin to accept or not to accept whether the Electoral Commission should go carry a registration exercise or not.
Yeah, but the agreement between the two of you lays a foundation for a peaceful process. And without that, the EC has estimated, if they go ahead without this agreement, their registration officers, their lives will be in jeopardy. And that's why they've taken this decision. Stay with me, Yusuf, and Nuruddin, stay with me too. I want to bring in Albert Ahin. He's a national coordinator of CODEO. That's a coalition of domestic election observers. Joins us on the line right now on the back of the developments tonight. Hello, Mr. Ahin. Thanks for your time here on Top Story.
How are you, my brother?
Before we even talk about the decision not to extend the limited voter registration exercise, what's your reaction to this announcement that the whole district, the whole Bawku area, if you really wanted to register, you cannot anymore because these two parties have failed to reach an agreement that then poses a grave security threat to EC officers, and they've said, well, we can't proceed because of the safety concerns. What's your reaction to this development?
I've been listening to the conversation, and this is very sad, I think. And if I remember very well, from the very word go, when this exercise was to start, I think I advised in one of the stations that it would be very prudent for the EC, for example, to take into account the sizes of certain areas, and if possible, carry the registration closer. For example, if it is Bawku, it will be advisable to create maybe 2-3 centers apart from the district office, so that people can have easy movement. I even cited an example of the Franklin, where normally the EC carries registration, election to them using boats. The EC will hire boats and send to the people there. So I was asking whether in this particular exercise, the people of Dija and the Draft Island would take a boat themselves or hire boats to come to Donkokum to do the registration. All I'm trying to say is that the EC was for convenience in certain sections of the state, in certain communities, maybe create 1 or 2 or 3 centers apart from the district office, where, for example, the population is quite big and where movement will be a problem. You see, from the way this Bawku thing is going, I can see some factionalism here. There are certain areas where maybe there are no-go areas for obvious reasons. I'm sure you know about Bawku and these problems with factions and whatever. So my advice might be that the EC can go back. Of course, I was told that they have suspended the election in the Bawku area. Maybe together with the authorities in Bawku, they should study this carefully. And if possible, if there are factions involved in this exercise, maybe they can break that place into 2 or 3 and send the machines there maybe after the main exercise has ended. Give them about a week if they have suspended for about a week or 2 or maybe 3 days or whatever it is, so that they can also exercise their right to vote.
Well, the Dr. Bossman who spoke to us today ruled that out. I mean, this is it. They're simply not going to do any registration there until possibly next year.
So they will not take it there until probably next year?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It's done. I mean, they've just ruled out any
yes,
limited registration.
If only the people will agree. If the people are not going to agree to this arrangement, then I will advise that whenever is like the whole thing is ending, I think on the 2nd, they can still extend it for peace to prevail, so that within 1 week or maybe 5 days or whatever it is, they will have enough machines to open 3-4 centers around there, because of this factionalism that I foresee or I see on the ground, so that they can exercise their registration rights. And then when next year it is opened, people can still go, because there will be people who will be turning 18 next year, so they can also go on it. But for now, because the people are not happy with the fact that the exercise has been halted, they can appease them by breaking it into maybe 2-3 areas, send the machines there. I don't think it is going to spoil anything.
In fact, Mr. Ahin, that is the EC's proposal. to have the centers in different areas. So in other places, there's one district center, which is what the policy is across the country. But in Bawku, they had agreed that they would do different centers because of the factionalism that you've just been talking about. So put it different in places. If you're comfortable with one place, you go there to go and vote. If you are for the other place, you go there. But this is what has led to divisions among the NDC and MPP, and there's no agreement. The MPP signed the document, the NDC has refused to sign it.
Then Evans, I'm afraid, then what do they want them to do? If the EC, in its wisdom, decided to do it that way, then why is the fight again? I hope you are getting me.
I do.
Do you get what I'm trying to say?
I do.
Yes, I'm sure the EC foresaw there was a problem, there's factionalism, there's some division there, so why don't you get your machine? You also get your machine, and then we do it simultaneously. So if that didn't work, then I don't know. Then probably I might have to side with the EC that they have to wait till they go for next year where it will be open in all polling stations so they can go and do it.
But isn't it really tragic that because of disagreement between NDC and MPP, loads of people, loads of first-time voters cannot cast their ballot in the district level elections?
Yes, that is also the problem because you and I know that the district level election in itself doesn't even attract people. There's apathy in voting. So by not registering them, then of course we are trying to tell them not to go and vote. So maybe the EC will have to open a fresh dialogue and talk to the people, the two big parties, sit down and talk, jaw, so that, they will have that opportunity before even next year so that, people can go and register. And so they can take part in the district assembly election.
Mr. Ian, very quickly, the EC also announced today that the exercise nationwide will not be extended. Once it ends, first week of November, that's it. Is it something that you're okay with, considering the concerns earlier that you and others have raised about the challenge with people traveling to the district centers to vote, etc.? There have been concerns and calls today that the EC should consider extensions, but they say that won't happen.
Yeah, this could be treated as a special case. This is a case where a suspension took place. So maybe my appeal to the EC is that they should consider the Bawku case.
I'm actually asking about the nationwide exercise beyond Bawku. The EC has said today that the exercise, the limited restriction exercise across the country will not be extended once the deadline is reached.
Yes, I believe the EC had a target. And if I remember very well, this morning I heard that they are almost close to the target of 700,000. So if they targeted that figure and they are almost close to it, it will be very difficult to ask the EC to go, to extend it because they had a target and it's like they have almost achieved that target of 700,000. And already they've said that they are going to reopen next year so that people can again go on it. So I'm maybe trying to say that because of this, they may have budgeted within the 700,000. And if they should go beyond it, they might have a problem. So they may be having a very serious reason why they don't want to extend it. But since they are saying that they are going to open it again next year, then I give them the benefit of that doubt.
Albert Dahing, thank you very much. He's the national coordinator of Kodeo. Yusuf Utumba with the NDC. Very quickly, in 30 seconds, is there an opportunity between now and the time that the limited registration exercise ends that there can be an agreement between yourselves and the MPP so the process can go on?
Mr. Thank you very much. Let me state in the very few seconds that the only solution lies within the Electoral Commission to create 2 additional centers in addition to the 2, making it 4. One will take care of one section, that's the Bisa area. One will take care of the Kukazagwe area. One will take care of the township, and then they run the one at the district office. And then we have a very peaceful registration exercise. Like a situation where they decided to create one for an MP stronghold, leaving the rest is what we are not ready to accept.
Okay. And Nuruddin, would you accept that if they have 4 across the district?
Well, I am really very happy with the way our very good friend, the man from Kodeo spoke. the issue about the Bawku situation is factionalism. We know very well that there's a conflict in Bawku between Mamprosis and Kosafis. That's a fact. There are areas that the Mamprosis control, and there are areas that the Kosafis control. Kosafis don't have problems. They don't have any problem with Bisa people. Mamprosis don't have problem with any Bisa people. So, in terms of these things, the EC finds it wise to zone the constituency into two areas that are controlled by Mamprosis and areas that are controlled by Kosafis. So the one at the EC office, fortunately, it is an area that is controlled by the Kosafis. The one they are putting at the township is also where Mamprosis are. This will make things very easy for all of us. So I just want to appeal with our friends from the NDC. They should leave this thing. Let's look at the national interest so that at least we'll get our own people to register. I mean, we are in a democratic state, and then everybody must be allowed to also choose freely. So that's what I think. I think that I support the EC, and I think that they should also join in supporting the EC, so that at least we have two registration centers.
Well, thank you very much, Nuruddin Naguma and Yusuf Otumba. If you are in Bawku, you've heard the news and possibly will be affected by the decision not to hold a limited registration exercise there for this time. You want to send us your thoughts on our many social media platforms, 055-1111-997. Let's continue the conversation on digital media. Joy News, Joy 99.7. Ghana Connect.